Let's talk about coaching. I haven't come on in quite some time, but I had a couple things happen when I was at the International Conference on ADHD, by the way, which was a phenomenal conference. And over the next few weeks, I'm going to be sharing many of the things I learned from many of the great speakers. Right now, my brain is still trying to process it all. It actually took me a good 3 days to recover from being at the conference with so many people and doing so many things. So, an incident happened, actually, two happened around the world of coaching while I was there. I met some people who are coaches, many of whom are great, phenomenal coaches. Many I've trained with. There are many, many wonderful coaches. But I had two situations, both of which really gave me pause. The first was a dinner out and a conversation. And the person had said to me that they didn't think they needed to take any coach training. They knew everything about ADHD already, having lived the experience. To which I say, yeah, there's a lot of value to that. And it took me a really long time to think through why I was bothered by the possibility that they would have no coach training and be a coach. And it finally came to me because the interaction was such about a completely different topic that I realized that the way it was being handled, they didn't have coach training because they would have communicated with me differently had they. So they would have been more understanding, not bringing so much of their own experiences to bear in the conversation. And yes, I'm not saying that we have to be like on our coaching game all the time, but when you've really studied to become a certified coach, you can't help it. You end up infusing everything you've learned about how to be a coach into how you interact in your daily life, no matter where it is, which leads me to the second story, which is really much of the bigger story. And that was that I was in a Starbucks getting my girlfriend was buying me a coffee, which was very nice. And I was getting gift cards for my daughter and her friends for the holidays. So her college buddies. So I'm buying the cards, and there was a problem. There was one of these three-pack card situations and just wasn't scanning, and there was something wrong with the computer and the technology, and the line is growing and growing and growing. And not that that's anybody's fault. The gal was really trying hard to make it work at the counter, and I finally just said, "I'll grab three regular cards, and we'll just put $10 each." We did all that, and in the sort of confusion of the moment, the fact that I was super tired because I talk all the time about sense models, sleep, exercise, nutrition, systems, environment. Well, I was in an environment that was not perfect for my introverted self. My systems were a little off. I was not eating super healthy because it was conference. I wasn't getting nearly enough exercise because I was in classes, and then I wasn't getting nearly enough sleep. So my ADHD was ramped up. I was definitely struggling with focus and staying organized and other things. And what happened was I walked away before I paid. She called me back and I said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry I didn't pay." I knew right away what I had done wrong, right? So I go back to pay, and I realize as I open my wallet that my debit card's not in there. And I like start to panic because there's a huge long line and I don't want to hold them up. And already my order's taken so long and everything else. And this is doesn't matter that it wasn't my fault. I was just feeling like, oh, I've really got to get my debit card and get going. So I say to the people around me, "Does anyone see a debit card?" And with that, someone hands me my debit card. And I said, "Oh, thank you so much. That's so great." And then this woman takes her business card and she shoves it at me and she says, "You look like you need an ADHD coach. Here's my card." Yeah. Okay. So my response, because I was triggered, but I wasn't sure why yet, was to say, "Ha, that's really funny. I'm an ADHD coach." All right. Probably not the best response. Probably the response that I should have had was, "Listen up, chickie. That's not how you approach people who are having an ADHD moment, particularly at an ADHD conference." Okay. Like a little empathy, a little kindness, a little compassion, a little respect, just a little bit. Respect. Okay. Sorry. Breaking out. It's a song. So, hello, ADHD brain. I sat down with my friend Jen and I looked at her and I said, "This was just my experience." And I said, "I don't, something's bugging me about it." And look, here's the thing, like, I wasn't like, "Oh my God, she hurt my feelings." It wasn't like that. I've been around the block, I've been beaten up enough. It wasn't that. It was that I was thinking, wait a minute, you're a coach, and that's how you're going to treat someone who is having a difficult, challenging moment? Because that's not what we're trained to do in coaching. It just would have been hand the person their card and say, "I hope you have an easier day," or whatever. They didn't have to even be super chatty about it. We're trained as coaches to meet people where they are and to have empathy and compassion and languaging around it so that we can ask the questions that help move people forward. So she wasn't really bringing awareness to the situation. And the coaching model that I was trained under was awareness action learning. So there wasn't this awareness brought to it of what was the situation. Wow, we're at an ADHD conference. Is it really going to be appropriate for me to say this to somebody? She had no idea if I was one of the people who might have rejection sensitivity around this particular issue of being forgetful. In fact, for me, I don't care. I mean, I lose debit cards, I lose keys, I lose glasses, particularly when I'm tired, and I was very tired. So my focus wasn't as good. So when you're looking for a coach, my point about, about all this is this. If you're looking for a coach, you really want to find coaches who are truly trained. Like, it's fine if you want to hire a coach who's currently being trained, because you'll probably get a better price. And I certainly don't want to discount those coaches. I was coaching while I was being trained. And frankly, the learning is a forever deal. Like, we don't ever stop. I mean, I'm in two different with monthly learning. One is fostering mindful change with Cameron Gott, amazing, as is the other one I take, which is coaching in action with Denslow Brown. There's no way, I could be wrong, but let's just say I'm 99% sure that someone who comes out of the coach approach training isn't going to do the card in your face thing and remind you how you're struggling with your damned ADHD, because that's just not how they roll. And I just really want to say you're looking for a coach who holds space for you for that awareness. So you come to an awareness about what your ADHD struggles and challenges are, or whatever your struggles and challenges are. It doesn't have to just be ADHD. You then action, you go off. We encourage you to go off and try something new. So it could be the tiniest step forward, trying a new action, trying a new habit, because the real coaching comes in the 167 hours we're not with you as coaches. There's 168 hours a week. Figure you're meeting us once a week for about an hour. It comes in the doing of the action. And then in coaching, we're going to explore the learning. What happened last time when you tried this? Or what happened that you didn't try this? Because guess what? We ask that our clients show up as they are, no matter where they are, even if they didn't do the thing, because there's learning in the not doing. Is it that you really didn't like it? It didn't fit your brain? You had other things going on in your life? Whatever it is, there's still learning to be had. It's still an opportunity for great coaching. And I just really want to encourage you, as you're looking for coaches, check out how you're feeling with them. How's your gut? Like, is the vibe like, I really want to work with this person? Or is the vibe, no way in hell? Because I got to tell you something. That gal who handed me that card, I would never work with her as my coach ever, because that was just so icky. She didn't mean it to be icky. She meant to be funny, I'm sure, but it wasn't effective. I mean, I really just had to, I had to vent. I had to do a little bit of a thing here, because here we are in this environment. And there are tons of coaches and therapists and psychopharmacologists and all these people involved in the world of ADHD. And you're for one of the other things involved in the world of ADHD. And I didn't mention you. I apologize, but it was just this spectacular conference. And that just wasn't the vibe of the conference, where coaches are here and therapists are here to hold you up, to lift you up, and to make you feel better and to help you understand your brain and how it works and what your specific systems are and who you are, your values, your needs, what's most important to you. And if your coach isn't doing that, nah, maybe time for a new coach. If you're looking for a coach, please look out for those things and be aware that um, there are some people out there who aren't fully trained. They're slapping the logo up, and they're out there saying they're doing the things, but they may not have really been trained in a way that truly honors and respects the client. So I'm going to end my rant. I hope you have an incredible rest of your week. We're going into the weekend. I get to get my daughter home from college. She's coming home. So super excited about that. She'll still have some exams to take while she's home, but she's able to take them remotely, which is pretty nifty. See you next week for the shift show, if not sooner. Remember, the shift show is all about what's one small thing you can shift today. So since I didn't really give you a shift except for coaches, for you, in the muggle world, the one shift you could make today is to give people a little kindness, give them some space. Maybe they're going through something in the line and they misplaced their debit or credit card. Just hand it to them and wish them a better day. All right, everybody.